Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the first Higher Learning Channel podcast. I'm Matthew Sire here with
Ginzilla. I'm Ginzilla. I'm a model, painter, pretty much like a postmodern Viking, if you want to say that, and a recovering nerd. So this is our first show. Welcome to us losing our virginity on air, making the internet wet.
the podcast Virginity.
But as you can tell from our intro, we're definitely from New York, and we met on some really weird circumstances. Me and Matt over here. So, do you remember the first day I came in?
I don't actually. I think it was the second day.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The second day you were in. But yeah, Chris was like saying that you were cool. What a mutual friend of ours, Chris, said that she was an interesting character.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. I came up here in New York, and I was only staying for a week. I came here for a photo shoot for Inked magazine, and I was getting all crazy. I just went New York fever. I was all about romance, and it was the last day in the city, and then I met this guy. His name was Chris, which is our mutual contact that we met through. And turns out when I moved to New York, he turned out to be a complete psycho after day 3. And if it wasn't for Matt or Chris Nunez,
Hey, there's a lot of psychos.
I probably would have been on the street, because that dude was trying to throw me on the street over some crazy shit. And at least they understood that he was doing some crazy shit, and I much appreciated that. But it's kind of interesting how we bonded, though, because I remember when I came over, Chris was like, "Oh man, I just got this new bud. You know, Ginger, you should smell this." And I was like, "Yeah." And I was looking, I was like, "Oh man, this shit looks like Bubba Kush." And he was like, "What?" And he said at that moment, that's when he knew that he could trust me. I think that's really funny. That was a weird stoner etiquette to go by. It's just he was like, "Oh, you know about some marijuana. You my best friend."
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
It's kind of good. I mean, I don't know. You always kind of notice too. Sometimes some people. Well, this isn't with everyone, but there's certain people where you're like, oh, this one person smokes. Okay, now I'm gonna there's a connection already there. But I mean, that's not always. But there's certain times where you might be the only 2 people who smoke in the room. So you're like,
he's like, "Hey, what's up?
Let's go talk.
We should be total friends.
We should be friends, weed friends."
It's
I'm really bad with.
I'll trust you over my roommate that I've known for years, but oh, fuck that guy, because he doesn't smoke weed. But this girl, she knows her bud, so I'm gonna pick her over that other guy. I was like, what?
But like you mentioned, weed etiquette. I'm really bad with weed etiquette, and it usually is just because I start getting into a zone out mode, and I babysit the blunt or babysit the pipe, or just don't.
You're a camper.
Yeah, and with the blunt, it's more of a horrible offense because you're burning it down, as opposed to a pipe where you're just kind of letting it rest. But
you can let it rest, but yeah, I mean, if the thing's burning, that shit's gonna just go into the air, man, for nothing. Speaking of, you need to be hitting this shit right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my first hit of the show.
As you can tell, the theme of Higher Learning Channel is marijuana, guys.
Yeah, I may have to. This may start falling apart for me. The further we go, the deeper we go in this show.
Yeah.
And that rhymed.
But the thing is about with stoners is you end up getting into the most random conversations, and you end up meeting some of the most random people. There's weird things, even something that'll totally annoy you about smoking with somebody. All of a sudden, you just totally wouldn't trust that dude with 50 cents. For example, whenever you're passing the pipe around, and there's that one guy who just fucking trims the whole hedge down. He just burns the whole top part of the pot, and then the rest of the fucking bowl tastes.
See, okay, that's where I'm bad
nasty,
again too,
dude. That's not nice. I kind of like to.
You mean just burning the edge?
Yeah, burning the edges as you go. So there's always kind of a taste of a green hit. That fresh little bit.
That's very considerate. I'm just really bad. I'm a real nice dude, but I'll hit the whole top of the bowl and then babysit it, and then drop it, oops, I'm just the worst.
You break the pipe.
Yeah, oh god, break the new pipe your roommate got, and you're like, oh god. Oh yeah, so I'm really clumsy. Not even clumsy, just.
I remember. I think it was Lefty that broke my pipe.
Oh man,
That was our old roommate, by the way, guys. Like, yeah, I was so bummed. I loved that pipe so much.
It's usually your roommate that'll break a pipe. Like, I feel like I've broken my own pipes, but it seems like it's always on someone else's hands or head.
Yeah,
that they broke it. You know, like that. It's always been my roommate. I've broken a pipe of my own, but like, I feel like the last 3 pieces I've had that have broke, the roommate.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know about that. I don't know. Like also like my old coworker back when I worked at the tattoo shop, he broke my pipe. That was the best pipe of my life.
Well, sometimes you can get, if they're a nice person, you can get a better pipe out of it by saying, man, I had such a sentimental connection to that pipe you broke.
I did. He tried to replace it and it still wasn't the same then.
Oh, well,
even he said, he's like, man, this just isn't the same as Yellow Fever. I named my pipes, by the way. And that pipe's name was Yellow Fever.
I can't,
the one we were smoking out of is, I named it Church.
Hey, that's good. See, mine weren't necessarily like clever, you know, is it Half Baked where they gave the badass names to their pieces?
I think so. There's so much awesome like stoner etiquette in Half Baked. Like,
I'm the only stoner that's seen Half Baked like twice.
That's it? Oh man.
That's why it's still really funny to me though. I haven't burnt it out just yet. I haven't cashed out that bowl.
What would you say is another all-time? Okay, what are some of your all-time favorite stoner movies?
Oh man.
I would have to say Kentucky Fried is definitely one of my favorites.
Kentucky Fried Movie?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I saw that when I was like 11 or 12, and I loved it. So like, I don't really associate it too much with being like a stoner comedy. Like, when I'm thinking of that.
In my college years, I guess that's why I kind of associated with stoner. Okay. Because I was in college at the time.
I thought you were talking about ones that have like weed in it, like that's part of the story, or like.
Well,
I always liked Up in Smoke.
I don't think it always has to incorporate weed necessarily.
Because then you could say, you know,
Grandma's Boy.
But
Grandma's Boy they do smoke. Like they do smoke a little bit, but you know, it's not all about, you know, that. Pineapple Express was definitely a fucking stoner movie.
That's another one I've only seen like twice, and it's great. I like it, but I've intentionally not seen it. I just watched it last week.
It's definitely effective because you still see people like quoting after it or trying to like twist their blunts into the Jesus crucifix blunt. That shit. What? Who does that?
And that was the first time I was like, you know, James Franco's a good actor. First time I thought about
it. Did you ever read the stories about him lurking on young girls out of college campuses?
On Instagram?
Yeah. Do you remember that story?
Oh, I didn't know about it on the college campus. I knew the Instagram.
He said he was doing it for the movie that was coming out. I think it was like a spring break movie.
It's the movie based on his book.
Yeah.
The Palo Alto is the name.
Yeah.
But he plays a coach that's trying to get with a younger kid, I think.
Maybe that's why he was doing it. Do you think
God.
That's or do you think he's genuine, like, pederast?
Well, that's exactly what I would have said if I got caught scheming on a kid. You know, like, hey, it's for my movie. I was just playing this character.
You don't understand my genius, man.
Yeah, and then as long as you don't, you know, as long as he wasn't actually having sex with the kid, he's not in court, you know.
Yeah. True.
It's like if someone said, "Oh, James Franco, we found this thing he wrote where he's thinking about doing a credit card scam on some guy. Seriously, some random guy. But he's in a movie where he just did a credit card scam. So he'd be like, no, it's the movie.
It's for the movie.
Yeah, it's for the movie.
I'm doing genius marketing right now. You guys just don't know.
But then I was thinking it kind of is because like it brought the week before his movie. Well, it's not his. It is his movie, but he didn't direct it or whatever. But he wrote it. The week before the movie that he's in comes out, he's like popped up front page. It's me, James Franco. What's up? Oh, oops. You know, I was scheming on a kid. You know, whatever it is, but it's still him front page. Just like I think I know this happens way more often, but I was thinking about this with Yeezus also.
Oh. Okay,
like I think he had to time the release of the album around the time he knew the baby was due. Like the baby came out the same week.
Yeah.
Or like the week, like either the day or I don't know what it was. I wish I had the facts for the show, but it came out right before, and I was like, God, dude, that's great. Like, cause he was like it was the headline the week before. He's also the headline as like the album came out.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, maybe it was planned with Franco.
Maybe. Who knows?
And who knows how many home
But
runs
still,
he actually hit.
I still think that kind of gives you like this permanent suspect type of like.
Yeah, but he's Hollywood, you know, like.
It is Hollywood, but there's always going to be the thought in the back of your mind is like, but what if that's like real? You know, like what if he really is like a lurker, like a little.
Oh, I
lurker.
believe it.
Yeah.
Because what if he didn't get called out?
Yeah. Or what?
Which
what
has probably been happening for the last 4 or 5 years.
Who knows?
I don't know. And he is a professor. He's a professor now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's teaching a class. I don't know, but it's like it's like a filmmaking class.
Oh, okay.
Which that escalated real quickly. He was just like a student, like not even that long ago. And I think he went through the master's course like within 2 years or something like that.
I mean, it must be nice, you know. He has the money to take care of himself, or like not have to like work, you know, for his college tuition, or has to worry about paying for that shit.
I feel like it's also the professors at the college are kind of jerking off over the fact that he's going to be a student, so they're like, let me, you know, like you gotta film a movie. That's fine with me. You know?
Publicity's great.
Yeah.
You could just say I taught James Franco. Yeah, true. What other stoner jams?
Well, Up in Smoke, but I just like that's something, you know, the Cheech and Chong. I think is it their first one?
Oh.
See, this is also something that's we need the net. But anyway, I watched it recently. I watched it when I was a kid, and it was really funny. But I watched it recently, and like it starts off really great, and the momentum, like I don't know. I wasn't into it after a while, but it's still good. And that one to me is always in my head as like a stoner, you know, of course, stoner film.
When it comes to every time I think of Chong, like I remember that the time that I lived in LA and there was 420 out there, I was like, oh man, it's 420. I'm gonna hit up all the weed pharmacies and just check it out. But I got lazy, of course. I just went.
You had a bowl and then you started watching Cheech and Chong.
And then I was like, I'll just go to the one down the street, and it was literally like a couple blocks away from me. I just had to walk down the street just to get whatever I wanted. And then I walk inside, and it was like a celebration. They gave me like a little bit of champagne, gave me a little treat.
Hey, now that's illegal.
And then they also, you know, when I grab my supplies for the day to celebrate, they also gave me like a gift bag, and they had like all these like little treats of like rolling papers, and then you could enter like this raffle to win the Chong bong, and it was like a bong signed by Chong. And I thought it was the coolest thing.
Did you win?
No, but how amazing is that? I was like,
I would have sold it.
I was like a kid in a candy store. I was just like, oh my god.
I get offended anytime anybody starts talking about their dispensaries in LA or Colorado and all that. Because I'm here in New York, and it's like
Denver weed is the best weed, man.
What?
Denver weed is definitely the best weed because of the high altitude and everything.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you're probably getting
Yeah, that's what I bet
it's hard to even run.
Snowboarders smoke the best. That's what I hear.
But I think you could even take this weed and like go up there. It's just the fact that you're high altitude.
Do you think it's that?
Or
do you think
the way it's grown?
Yeah, because like if
maybe
you think
both.
about it, there's like high gravity beer.
Yeah, but you know, I wonder what that really
means. It has
means.
more of a like effective. No. It's higher alcohol rate whenever you do high gravity beers. It's interesting. So I wonder if it's high altitude for weed, then it could probably have an effect on it. I didn't try to do any research on this. Just going by stoner generalization.
Dr. Genzilla. No, I gotta look that up too. I mean, like, I wanna, cause that does seem like something that would affect you, just even you in the way you're breathing, you know. So like the way you're intaking it would be totally different.
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying to think of another one.
What, another stoner movie? I liked Wet Hot American Summer, but I know that's not technically a stoner movie, but I practically associate it with stoner vibes.
But it's funny because, like, you can almost say a lot of the really good comedies could be considered stoner comedies anyway.
Some comedies are a little bit different than others. Like, let's say rom-com.
Oh, no, I'm saying the good ones. The good ones. Like, but you're right.
Yeah.
Rom-coms are on another they haven't
playing field going on with stoner thing. Maybe.
But I have fun.
There's only been a few recently that's been kind of like up there where it could be like a stoner rom-com, but
every movie is a good weed movie.
You're like everything. No, I don't like watching horror, dude.
Oh, come on, that's the best.
No.
That's why I start watching.
That shit fucking spooks me out.
Because you had me thinking when you started mentioning comedies that weren't really weed movies, but you thought of them as like stoner movies.
Yeah.
I think that about like horror movies too, because like I watch a lot of them, but I'm like, ooh, I was high as fuck and got so scared, but like.
No way. That's
that's when it's good.
You're just fucking sadistic, man. Like it's just no.
That's when it's
way.
really
I'll
good.
I'll fucking check in behind the shower curtains or like closing my eyes for maybe like 5 seconds and just wondering if there's something there, or like all these sounds just start like heightening and I'm like, oh man, I'm fucking mad paranoid now. It's fucking hell no.
I mean, it's not all the time, but sometimes you want to get so high you get scared.
I'm out on that, dude. Like I'm fucking out on that. I'll stick to like laughing when I'm.
Hey, that can happen too. You turn on the movie. It's called like Guts.
Oh man, suspense makes me feel like I'm about to have a heart attack.
Then it's like real. It's like you're watching it in 3D.
No way.
Emotional 3D.
No, I'll do adventure when I'm high at a 3D theater. That is the best experience.
I only saw Avatar in 3D.
Oh man, I saw X-Men in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that because you were telling me that when
especially the Quicksilver scene.
Yeah, where he's running on the wall. Oops, I don't want to give any spoilers out.
Oh,
no, just joking.
I mean, there was also like Blink, which I was super excited about.
Who's that?
Are you kidding me? The girl with the lavender darts and teleporting powers.
Oh, what is her name? The actress name?
Man, fuck, whatever their actress name is. I'm talking about Blink, man. Blink was in it. I didn't think it was ever possible because she was kind of like a obscure character in the comic books, but she was my all-time favorite comic book character because I just like what kind of person she was, and I ended up having her as my first tattoo. She's still on my shoulder. I got it when I was like 16 years old.
Oh, and you have a personal connection to the...
And I saw the movie, I was like, no shit! That's my bitch!
So she wasn't in the other ones?
She was the coolest one. No. This is the first time you see her
in
this movie.
And you see Storm for like 3 minutes?
Future Past. Huh?
You see Storm for like 3 minutes?
Yeah, whatever. I didn't like the casting for Storm, to be quite honest. I never did. I think Halle Berry is like an awful casting. I'm
for
not
Storm?
into it. Yeah, for Storm. Like, fucking... Storm is like this Amazonian African goddess. She was worshipped as a goddess. She was a fucking thief before she was worshipped. She was hard as fuck. She was street, and then she's a queen,
Do they, and I apologize for my not knowing about the X-Men movies. I did see the most recent one, but do they go into her backstory in the X-Men movies?
No, not really.
Oh.
They don't. But I mean, if you're a comic book nerd, you would know that about her.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to be a nerd these days, for sure.
I think there's less negative stigma to it.
Oh yeah, it's hip. There's like hipster nerds, and there's people who's been nerds before it was hip.
Yeah, well, that makes me think
it's almost like the new punk, in a way. It's kind of like the new punk. It's just like, how can you like ultimately claim to be a nerd now these days? When you have the internet, everything's at your fingertips. You didn't obsess about things, or you didn't have to wait a month out just to get like the next episode of some anime you were into, or a comic book you had to special order because it was an obscure title,
or pay like $35 for like an import video. That's
and if you didn't live in a city, it was even harder. Like myself, I lived out in the country, so I had to really make a drive to find a comic book shop that I could like totally get all these back issues I needed,
I feel like there's some magic to that of course is like, I don't want to say it's gone because comic book shops are still there. More so than like video stores or music stores. I feel like comic book shops, I don't want to say they're thriving, but like they haven't suffered as much as like music or video stores. But I feel like there's like magic to that of like I'm thinking about anime. which is something you could just download now if you wanted to or watch on YouTube.
Yeah, you could do anything.
But trying to find it,
you could even like download. There's like a lot of like online comics now that you could just do it digitally and read it. There's like comic book apps. You know, I remember I was talking to a friend of mine that was developing one of those things, and I actually need to get back with him. He said he wanted to make me a comic book character, which would be pretty rad.
Oh, what would your name be?
Shit, I don't know what he has planned for me. I gotta proofread what my character is about to be, you know, before I approve that.
Oh man, she came from Georgia.
Where it's like gonna be some play off of Blunt Man and Chronic. I'm just like
some
epic stoner character, maybe. I don't know.
Man, not Ginzilla. A huge monster.
Just put my face over Godzilla's body. That's all you gotta do. And put some tattoos on Godzilla's body.
And then have like that roar, but just have your mouth going.
Yeah.
Or wide open mouth.
Somebody's gotta Photoshop this, guys. Somebody has to Photoshop this shit. This shit is crazy.
Man, what else? Oh, so that Ginger just showed me this video that was the GoPro, this dude with a GoPro on his head. He jumps into the water, sees this shark, and comes back up. But it just had me thinking about GoPros because the sound was great. I'm not. This isn't an ad for GoPro.
Yeah. No.
But the sound was great. The video was great, and like it's so compact. Like I've actually never really held one, but is it like this big?
It's like, really tiny.
Like
I know Chris has one, and he uses it for that. It's super tiny. It's just really like this big, you know.
Man, because I was thinking about all the crazy shit you could do with that thing, especially if you can turn it on from your phone. Like you can use that as your security camera. You can like spy. Oh, put it right here. Boom. Leave the room. Everybody's still in the room. Press record from outside. You got your eyes and ears in the room.
You could like hook it up to one of those little like Amazon choppers. You just go to people's houses.
Go right in by the window. Oh, of the Standard Hotel, like just like in front of each window.
There's always somebody fucking out.
I've never seen that, and I go and I've waited on one side for a little while, and I wait on the other side. And I look like every time I've gone by, which has only really been like 10 times, you know, maybe more.
I was at this photo shoot, and I remember we were like shooting on top of the rooftop, and then everybody was looking across the way, and apparently they just saw like this, you know, guy and chick like banging. But the fucked up thing is, whenever he came, he just threw her a wad of money and just left the room.
Wow, that's an amazing.
At first you're just like, oh, you know, it's like, you know, people getting it on, and then whoa, did we just see that? Like, it's like.
Well, for people that don't know, the Standard is a hotel in New York that it sort of straddles this public walkway that you can, and all the windows are like floor to ceiling glass, so you can just
this
look.
wasn't nearby the Standard. No, this wasn't nearby the Standard. This is actually in this neighborhood.
Oh, right okay, here. Never mind. I thought you were talking about the Standard.
Yeah, no, we're, you know, still in Manhattan. You know.
Okay, yeah.
But this happened in like Lower Manhattan. And
man, that's intense though. Seeing them throw the money, I was imagining this like you could see the whole floor to ceiling, like the whole thing. And
yeah, it's just like he was like. Whatever.
So you've never seen anyone fucking in the window of the Standard?
I didn't try to. I've shot at the Standard though.
It's such apparently it's a regular thing that, you know, people have seen, and I feel left out that I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Nah, you're probably not missing out much. But yeah. I
mean, it's like a shooting star.
Who knows what can happen though around that whole area? Honestly, it's like what, Meatpacking District?
Yeah.
Yeah. Meatpacking District is crazy. There's always some crazy shit going on because, like, we heard about the Jay-Z Solange, you know, situation at the Standard.
Oh yeah.
Later, and then what was that other story that happened where B. Stiviano, she got punched out by a couple guys?
When was this?
Like not that long ago when she was visiting New York, and then.
Man, she needs to wear that visor more often.
Or whatever, but yeah, apparently it was like a racial hate crime, and these two guys. Yeah,
like they didn't even know it was her. They were just hating on her.
They knew it was her, and then. I think they said, like, you know, fuck you, you N bitch. They used the N word, and then And then they tried, as she was getting inside her cab, and they were like punching at her. And thankfully, like some onlooker like jumped in to try to help her.
That's wild.
But she got fucked up.
Actually, Meatpacking was the only neighborhood that I've been in New York where I've seen like open drug sales, like of dudes like that had coke and were just like, hey, coke smoke, this and that, you know, like, and I've just never seen it out in the open.
Like fucking crazy down there, dude. Like, it's crazy. I bartended over there, and I just saw a bunch of fucking like coked out rich people, because I worked at like one of those like bougie ass bars where you had to be on a guest list or you had to look right to enter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what kind of fucking place am I at? Like, what is this shit?
The drug capital of New York City?
Yeah.
The cocaine use
capital?
capital?
It's nothing like it was in the 80s, though. I remember, like, hearing stories about businessmen, especially around, like, Union Square and those, like, buildings, where in every floor of the bathroom, there was, like, just a tray of coke. For real. Like, just a tray, you just go to the bathroom and then just coke it up and go back to work.
Ugh, that'd be horrible. It'd probably be amazing for like the first like hour.
If you're like a business person, but it's unlimited. I mean, you go back to the bathroom whenever the fuck you want, you know?
Oof.
I guess they just wanted you to keep grinding.
Oof.
That's crazy, right? Just to think about, like, living here as a businessman in the 80s. Like,
I guess everybody's making so much money, but they all developed such crazy habits.
I even heard about that in car sales. I used to work in car sales, and back in the 70s and 80s, coke was a huge thing. And, like, people would just go to the office and just, like, take coke breaks all the damn time.
I don't think people, like, I don't know if...
It's all in the open.
I guess they didn't see how deep you could get in it, you know, like, how deeply you could get, fiending on it.
I guess.
Because it seems like they were doing it almost like...
people started freebasing.
But it seems like they were hitting it like cigarettes.
Yeah, they practically
Which is
were.
something that I think every industry now, whether it be porn, whether it be like stock, you know, like I think everybody's realized, even Hollywood, like you shouldn't really be hitting it like that. No. Like people still binge out and people die or whatever, but like I feel like in the 80s it was, or late 70s, early 80s, it was like something else. Like people did it in a casual way that's like everybody knows now you shouldn't really like hit it all day, every day.
Yeah.
I mean, people still do,
but whatever.
Like,
I'm like, but
it's like not the industry standard anymore.
But you know, casting stones at a glass house, you know, it's kind of like I'm a everyday stoner, pretty much. It's rare when I take breaks. I mean, coke. I hit it every day. I mean, it's a habit. I do smoke cigarettes. That's a really fucking nasty habit. You know, really nasty. I try to quit, man.
I remember you stopped for a little bit.
I try to quit, and then I go back, and I try to quit.
But see, weed is different. Like I feel like if you hit any other drug that many times every day, you'd be majorly fucked up by this point. Alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol.
Coke.
Holy shit.
Anything, like anything, you'd be fucked up.
Alcohol's legal. That's the thing that I find crazy. I can't believe alcohol's legal. I'm like, really? As many fucking accidents that we have on that, or people fighting? I think like something about 40% of violent crimes are due to alcohol events. Yeah, I'm just like, what? You know,
and a huge percentage of like vehicular.
How many people got in a fight from being high on
3,
weed?
6.
You remember? Have you ever witnessed
100 in like the last 50 years?
No. But you know.
But yeah, I have. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, but they were like they had like this dude wanted to fight. No.
Really? That's insane. Yeah. I don't want to do that shit. I'm just like, whatever.
Nah, yeah. Usually it chills everybody out.
Yeah, I'm mellow.
But then they watch a horror movie and they get, and then they see somebody come in, oh, poof! They just punch them on instinct.
Speaking of punching on instinct, this fucking crazy ass story. I knew this guy, right? And he got drunk a lot. And so, you know, he's used to just passing out at random places. And I think he passed out in the garage when he was like,
his own garage?
Yeah, his own garage. He passed out. And as soon as he fucking woke up, he sees a fucking snake right next to his head, and I shit you not, he punched this snake to death. That was his first reaction as soon as he saw the snake right next to him. Just punched the shit to death.
But did he grab it first?
That is the most badass shit. No! He just started, like, punching.
Oh man, he probably started punching
He
the
freaked
wall
the fuck
too.
out. Like, he just, I guess he went like straight berserker as soon as he woke up. I was like, wow.
It was a garden snake, all humble.
No. It was a poisonous snake. It was a rattlesnake.
Oh.
No, it was a rattlesnake. Like, it was no joke.
All right, then he deserved
I believe it with that guy because I remember another story where like he woke up in a mattress store from a night of boozing.
That's a good place.
Yeah, mattress stores. What the fuck? How did you even get inside the mattress store without like setting off any alarms? Drunk.
He was just so sleepy, he sort of drifted.
I even remember whenever like my other roommates would carry his body, so he would like get to bed because he just passed out at random spots, and he would just like bang his head against the door, whatever. He'd still be sleeping, you know, whatever. He didn't care. But if you like blew smoke in his face, you could see him like hold in the smoke before he breathed it out in his sleep.
I don't believe that.
No. I've tested it out a few times. I lived with this guy. And I was like, no fucking way. He'll stay passed out with his head getting banged into the door, but his like subconscious mind will still like hold in smoke whenever it's like weed.
Hey, his body still needs to intake weed, I guess.
I guess. That's wild though.
Okay, so back to roommates.
Yeah.
I had this crazy roommate. Well, I mean, I've had a few crazy roommates. Like, you always think it can't get crazier than that, or you always think, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with crazy roommates anymore. Once you get like a good little group, right? And then the next one comes in, you know, and you're like, oh shit, it's just, you know, it's exactly what it was, if not worse, or just different in a weird way.
Like the one I dated and met you through.
Yes. Whoa, I was about to say his full name.
Yeah. Let's not
Yes,
use
this
full
guy.
names to protect the identity.
It was on the tip of my tongue
of
to protect
others.
the innocent.
Yeah. Not so innocent.
To protect the guilty.
Protect the guilty, more likely, and not to be charged with any kind of slander.
Yeah. Well, also.
But not like it really matters. I'm sure he probably deleted all his social media because I saw him delete his Instagram.
Hey, that's good. Everybody should scrub their whole social media presence at one point in their life. I think maybe more than that. Maybe forever.
I'm still on Instagram. Which, by the way, you can find me on Instagram. I'm Akuma Suicide, AKUMASUICIDE. But yeah, feel free to follow me on there. I'm also on Twitter as GINZILLA.
I'm on Twitter too, but I'll wait.
Follow.
I'll wait.
You're such a shy Twitter person.
No, I'll give my contacts out at the end.
What? You're crazy. Just speaking of Instagram, I think it was. But you said it was probably because he was about to get married.
That was just my roll of the dice. Like I mean,
just an assumption.
Well, because what I was thinking was this guy that we're talking about is, he's from Texas.
Yeah.
So he went back. Like, I think going back home, and then I don't know. I've seen it happen before, I guess.
Yeah. Where somebody gets sentimental feelings.
Yeah.
That's what I did in my first marriage. I went back home and I fell in love with somebody that I knew when I was like 16. Horrible fucking mistake, by the way. That was fucking horrible mistake. Awful.
Hey, well, it's not.
Awful.
Wait.
You would think it would work out because, like, oh yeah, I knew this person. We lived together before.
Wait, how old were you when you got married then?
Shit. I think I was like 24.
That's still really young. For some reason I thought you were 18. I don't know why I thought that.
No. Because like I was still dating my first boyfriend when I was 18. I was like 16 to about 20ish. And then.
But 24 is really young.
And I was single
still.
for a minute for about 3-4 years, and then I dated that guy, and then we decided to get married. And I thought it would work out, but that shit was fucking lame as fuck. So lame.
How long did that last?
Probably less than a year.
Okay.
We got married and broke up in less than a year, which is that's redneck as shit. I am such a fucking redneck. I had a redneck wedding.
But that's how you do it, though.
Minus the pregnancy. There's no pregnancy.
Yeah, see, that's how you at least cut it,
I cut it off, man.
Yeah.
This dude fucking...
You didn't have a kid. You didn't stay together for like 6 years, like wondering and waste like a huge chunk of your life, you know?
Yeah, but okay, this was in Alabama, by the way, guys. Like, this is in Alabama, and he was like some manager for Walmart at the time.
Yeah, but when you're 22, wait, how old are you?
And I told him ahead of time. I was like, "Yo, if I come down here and I move here and I give this a shot, you know, we have to make plans to leave here in a year." That's what I said. And he was like,
"Not with that Walmart money coming in."
Nah, it was decent, but not that great, you know. And then it's not like he like supported me as a husband either, because we still split everything down the middle.
Oh, you were already married.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or even when we were like living together and then we got married, it was still kind of like down the middle. And in fact, like, if anything, when I separated from him, I gave him money. You know, I supported him and I paid for the divorce. So I was just like, I can't do this shit.
So when a year came, he wasn't ready to go?
No, hell no, he wasn't ready. I didn't even see him try. I was like, what the heck's going on? And then, like, sex was like whack as fuck, you know. It was like whack. It was like, at first it was like pretty awesome, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting off good. And then it becomes like predictable, and then it happens the same time all the time. And then he gets all depressed because I'm not giving him attention to go to the gym or like whatever bullshit, because I needed to go to the gym to release some stress, because I'm sure like not getting off is hard anymore, you know. I need to get off somehow. And so that sucked. So then he got more depressed.
Man, that went downhill quick. That was like
then we would only
less than a year.
Yeah, it went down quick. So quick. It's just like that chemistry.
But how long were y'all going
there.
out before that?
He asked me to marry him in 3 months.
That's real surprising. I think usually people, like, you know, especially with the heat of getting married, you know, oh, that's hot, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know how he was, but I would think, you know, at least they could, you know, have fun fucking each other for a year.
No. He wanted me to.
It's those Alabama guys.
Like, no, but also that's how I got married though. Like Kiku's Japanese, and he asked me to marry him in 2 weeks.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is,
2 weeks.
It didn't get like. It didn't go downhill quick.
No, because I think we're gonna hit like 2 years.
There you go. See, like, you know.
Which isn't too bad, you know. 2 years ain't bad. I'm doing all right. It's chill.
Yeah, but finally. I wouldn't think like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's really quick of going downhill for the dude you're with.
Yeah, when you got married. That was quick. And then when he would drink so much.
Oh, that's why.
You know, he hallucinated. Like, he thought he saw shit that wasn't there. Like, that's really fucking drunk, dude. Like, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, wow. I couldn't even look at him like he was a man anymore. I was like, yo, you're just not even a man to me. Like, what are you? And then he would go like, oh, my happiness depends on you. He would say that you're my reason for living. And he would, what kind of pressure is that?
See, I feel like a lot of guys do that. Like, I think I even got in a situation like that where I didn't say those words, but like I felt that.
He said those words. Like, it came out of his mouth, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking heavy. You know, don't tell me shit like that, because like, all of a sudden that gives me pressure. I don't really respond well to that. In fact, it just makes me want to rebel. I'm like, you're not the fucking boss of me, you know? Fuck you. Fuck this. Fuck all of this. Fuck that.
Well,
guy.
then I see why you jumped ship then quick.
Yeah. And
that
also,
sounds crazy.
Not to mention, you know, in that whole scenario, you know, it was really shitty of me, whatever. But I met this fucking guy, and he was like way cooler than my husband. He was at least ambitious. He tried to get out of, you know, wherever he was. You know, he was a fucking helicopter pilot. You know, he was artistic. He had his own thing. What was my husband doing? He was like fucking manager at Walmart, and he was like a fucking alcoholic, and sex was whack. Awesome. You know, like, whoa. And that whole situation was nuts, man. That, like, even how it went down, because, like, we were friends for a minute, me and this other person, helicopter pilot guy. And then I remember we were, like, hanging out one afternoon, and we were, like, walking around, and we passed by, like, a playground. We were just, like, chilling and talking and sitting at the playground. And then all of a sudden, you know, because it happens in the South, by the way, where it could be a completely sunny day and all of a sudden rain comes down. So
oh
it
yeah,
just
there's
starts-
like a lot of flash floods too out there.
Yeah, I think the southern expression for it is like the devil beats his wife. That's a historic expression for that.
And she's crying.
I guess that's how she cries.
Okay.
But anyways, it starts pouring rain, and my clothes get wet. He's wet. All of a sudden,
We're wet.
you know, and then all of a sudden, it was just straight out of a movie. And then just start fucking making out. We walked
In
back
the
to
grass.
his apartment. We walked back to his apartment, fucking stripped down. He tosses my shit in the dryer for me. And then all of a sudden, he just fucking lays me down on the couch. He made sure I got off like 3 times before even fucking. And I was like, holy shit, what kind of magical wizard are you? Like, and this is so fucked up because I'm like, I should be feeling really horrible about what I'm doing. But this is the most amazing sex. Like, it was like so much conflict going on. I didn't know whether I should try to enjoy it or should I like punish myself or say fuck it and just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's kind of mind blowing when you meet that person who actually gives a fuck if you get off or not.
Yeah, and it's the worst situation possible.
Oh well, yeah, that was not ideal to have
that
your
was,
husband
like,
to
the
be
worst.
married.
And then that shit going down, like, what kind of twisted fucking shit is that?
You meet this dude who's like giving out orgasms.
Just giving them out, man. He was a wizard. He was a dungeon master level, man. He was a dungeon
Wait, so how did
master.
you resolve this? I mean, that's when you said, "Oh, I'm out." Is that when that happened?
Yeah. That was definitely the pushing moment of that. You know, I feel like we
You were like, I just came about 9 times.
I feel like we demonize some cheaters sometimes. I feel like we also like don't admit the times that we do. You know, but I mean, it does happen sometimes. It does. Cheating totally happens. But then there's also serial cheaters where they're just constantly cheating all the damn time. Now, I have no respect for people like that. That shit fucking sucks. To me, like, the guilt hurt me so bad that I couldn't even go back to him. I was just like, man, this is just fucking wrong. You know, I can't have sex with him now.
That's good that you ended it though, because like at
'Cause-
least it
'cause
didn't take
I-
up 5-6
I-
years of your life, or a kid came out of it. You know.
Just like my dad says, man, you gotta shit or get off the pot. You know, what are you gonna do? It's like, either you're just gonna keep this to yourself and never do it again, or you're just gonna go.
True.
And you just go.
Hey, on that note, if anybody has any dating questions or advice that you want, you need advice, you should email Higher Learning Channel at
gmail.com. Or you can even access that on our website, the higherlearningchannel.com. Actually, it's higherlearningchannel.com. And we're going to
So no the in the front?
No the.
Okay.
I don't believe so. Is it?
I don't know yet. Hey, try both.
God damn you, stoner memory!
They'll both get you somewhere. The internet's a big place. HigherLearningChannel.com. Also, we may have Corey from the Evil Teddy Bear podcast on Higher Learning at some point.
He actually just went to a Zine Fest in Atlanta, so I'm sure he's gonna be able to talk about his favorites or have some input on some zines.
Yeah.
He's awesome. You could even catch me on some of his episodes of Evil Teddy Bear podcast. It's super awesome. I love Corey. He's the greatest.
I want to hear him talk about that actually too. Has he already had a podcast out that talks about that? Like of him going?
I'm not sure if he's recording that just yet, because I think it was just today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really recent. I don't know if he's going to record it just yet.
Okay.
But I'm sure you're going to be able to catch it. You can also find Evil Teddy Bear podcast on iTunes, and he also has a pretty cool blog, especially if you like to talk about nerd topics with movies. He is awesome. Corey has awesome energy.
I liked the shows that I did hear of his. I'd love to hear him talk about zines too. I love that whole scene of just, there are multiple scenes, but, independent publishing of any kind, just something that are way more high end or just stapled together notebook paper,
Yeah.
that someone happened to print on.
I mean, he pretty much inspired me to want to do this podcast. Because Corey just has really good energy. I even remember whenever I've been on his show 2 or 3 times, I believe, and I got interviewed by this other guy, and that interview was just so whack. Like, there's so many, like, weird pauses going on, and it just seemed like he wasn't interested in whatever was happening, or he wasn't even listening to my answers. He was just looking down a list of questions, you know?
Was it in a studio?
I think it was, like, some sort of, like, college...
Oh, okay. So there was, like, a nice mic, or...
I don't know. It was probably like much nicer in equipment. Probably not on my end so much because I was just like talking off of my computer.
Oh, I see. It was like sent in, or you did it digitally, like
yeah. I think we
remotely.
Just Skype it. Yeah, we just went over Skype, which is way better to be doing Skype on the computer than the phone because Skype totally drops off on my phone.
Oh yeah. I would think it'd be a weaker connection.
I hate it though.
Well, you could. I don't know. Oh, whatever.
I don't know.
What do you have going on?
There's actually an art show coming up. This painter called Sandra Chevrier. She is based out of Montreal. I recently found out that she made like this painting of me, and it's super cool. She mixed some images of me and blending it in with like comic books and like
nice.
Yeah, it's cool. There's like one with like Superman and Batman, but there's going to be an art show coming up in July in Brooklyn, and she's going to be on there. I also believe like Pez is going to be at that show as well, and other like pretty big names that you've probably seen on either like High Fructose or Juxtapose.
Cool. How big is the picture she did of you?
She's actually done a series. She's done like I think like I don't know how many, like probably 7 pieces at least of me, and then there's a bunch of sketches. There's a whole series going on.
I want to see these.
I would definitely try to find Sandra Chevrier on Facebook or see it online. I actually have a painting right here of it, and she actually gave me a print as a big thank you. But cool. I would really love to see these pieces in person because I believe like a couple of those are going to be life size at the show.
You should tell her, man, really give me an original. Don't give me a print. Give me an original.
I don't know.
I'm the inspiration.
I don't even know if I have any room in this tiny ass like Manhattan apartment.
No, you just sell it. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Like, fuck it. One of those paintings go for a lot. I think like even one of her prints, like with the blue background that I have, I think it goes for like $1,700 now, which is insane. So I guess she's building some steam, man. It's pretty cool.
It's a pricey print.
It's worth it. It's really good quality though, and it's like limited edition, so it's not like she's gonna make a whole bunch of them.
When is that? When does that open up?
It's gonna be July 18th. I'm sure you could probably Google search it for an art show in Brooklyn with Sandra in it. And what else I've been doing? I just shot with Greg Banis. There should be some images coming out. I'm not sure if he's gonna try to submit those to a magazine. I was in a tattoo magazine in Turkey.
Whoa.
Yeah, Tattoo Art Turkey. I was published for that, and I also got published in Rebel Inc. with Jesse Lee and AC Slade. He's like the guitarist to Joan Jett.
Cool.
Yeah. It was really interesting. I was like, oh man, just that 1 degree of separation away, you know, like I could just that much closer, possibly just being in person with Joan Jett. Dude, I fucking blew it yesterday. I saw Johnny Lee Miller.
Oh, where?
Yeah, in my shop. He came in. He bought some jewelry from my boss, and I missed it. And I was like, oh,
is he
no.
British?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I like what you said that.
I was like, yes. Because I was totally charmed by his accent. I was just like, oh my god.
Well, he does American accent really, really well. To the point where I didn't know.
It was awkward though, because like his wife and his kid was in there.
You were all humping him?
In my head. I was totally humping him in my head so hard.
His wife and his kids were there. You were all like looking at him like,
it was like an
get out of here.
boner moment. It was just like, oh my god. And then I think I remember showing him a example of like one of my rings in gold, because I think he asked something about gold. And then like when I reached my hand out, my hands was like just shaking like this. I was just like, I was like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing. This is even like making like the awkward boner moment like even worse.
You got starstruck?
Yo, big time. Dude, do you have any idea how many times I masturbated to the thought of Johnny Lee Miller from Hackers when I was like 12 years old?
You should have just told me that.
I went through puberty with Johnny Lee Miller. And then like seeing him inside the store and he still looks fucking hot. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. And you fucking put your dick inside Angelina Jolie. I'd bang her too. Like,
actually, that was one of the only movies I've ever thought she was hot in.
Oh my god, but still. But still, man, like that whole thing going on right there, that's just a whole lot of sex happening. And then there's like this family situation, and then I'm shaking. I'm like this awkward fucking kid in sweatpants standing by a tree, just like going, like breathing heavily, you know, just sweating, you know, and just shaking. I'm just like, oh my god. And the thing is like, if he would have came in by himself, it probably would have been like less intimidating, because I really wanted to take a picture with him so bad.
You should, and you could have at least told him honestly, you know, like, I masturbated so much.
No fucking way, dude. I couldn't. All that I was really able to say was like either to something to answer his question, or the only thing that came out of my mouth was like, I'm such a big fan. And that was it. I was like, I'm such a big fan. And then he pointed at his kids like, oh yeah, he's my biggest fan. And I was like,
oh,
I was like, oh my god,
Johnny.
I'm so moist.
Then you exploded.
But
your heart
awkwardly
exploded.
Moist. Ah. Yeah, so that was my moment, and that happened like yesterday.
You should have actually. Did you
so-
actually go? Oh.
And the whole time, I'm like, I'm fucking blowing it. Like, I was just like, man, I'm just fucking blowing it. Like, I was like, oh.
I've never really got starstruck. Like,
I got starstruck about him. I got starstruck about Scott Thompson.
Who's that?
From Kids in the Hall.
Which one?
What do you mean, which one?
I don't know who he is.
One of the gay ones.
The gay one?
The gay.
Oh, okay.
The gay. Yeah, Scott Thompson is the shit. Like, he was like one of my favorites on there. Him and
They're all great, but I don't even know their...
Foley, like he was also one of my favorites on that.
Yes, Scott Thompson. Yeah, I like him.
Scott Thompson, he's the shit. And like, I saw him, and like, I couldn't even form words out of my mouth. I was just like, I was like,
man,
I was like, literally, you could hear it like on the back of my throat, like I was like trying to say something. I was like,
I was just talking about this with someone. Like, he's probably one of a person I would go up to and say, I'm a big fan of your work and this and that. Because I was just talking to I saw the girl from St. Vincent.
Yeah.
And she was on the train, and like, I was thinking, oh man, I should go up and say what's up to her, right? But I'm not really a fan of her music. Like, I really am not, and it would have been stupid. Like, I really don't want to, like, I don't know, like, you know. But I think she's really cute, you know, like, and I think
some people I have no problem fanning out on, but like that's like straight starstruck moment.
Yeah, see, I've never had that either. I got starstruck when I saw Michael Douglas in Barnes and Noble. He was shooting Wall Street Part 2, the second Wall Street, which was a shitty movie. Well, I don't want to say, all right. I just didn't really like it. I don't want to say straight up it was a shitty movie. But, all right, I really didn't like it. But I got starstruck. I didn't even interact with him, but I was like, oh my God. I really like older Michael Douglas movies. Like, I like the way he sounds. I like the way he acts. Like, and it's also from my childhood, too. So, like, it's sort of deep in there. Whereas, like, I don't know, like, oh, because I saw Jeff Goldblum.
I saw that other dude from Hackers that played the bad guy.
Wasn't he Johnny Five? Wasn't he the dude from Short Circuit?
What? Was he?
Oh, wait, maybe not.
Was it him? No way. But I remember he was like digging
Google
my
bad
coffee.
guy from Hackers.
He was asking me where to get coffee when I was walking.
I say, hey, aren't you? Don't put a virus on a dial-up modem. A virus to take down a whole oil tanker from a virus.
I'm like, aren't you in Hackers? Yeah, you were.
He's gonna say no.
Yeah, you were.
I was not in Hackers.
I wanted to, but I was like,
stop it! He like covers his ears and runs out.
The dude just wants to find some coffee. He's probably hungover. Who knows? But I know how I am before I have my first cup. I'm just like, man, just don't talk to me. You know? That dude was probably desperate.
Yeah, maybe it's better you didn't ask him if he was in...
Oh, and who else did I... Oh, I totally got starstruck over Mike Mignola.
Yeah! He is the guy from Short Circuit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he asked me for coffee.
Okay, and then who was the other guy you fanned out over?
Mike Mignola.
That sounds really familiar, too.
He wrote Hellboy. And, you know, you can see him on BPRD. He also did the illustration for Atlantis, the Disney movie Atlantis. And he's just amazing. I remember, like, bringing my comic book over to his table and just, like, also shaking. And the only thing I could say was just, like, will you please sign my comic book? And that was it. I was like, I don't know.
Well, it's funny because I think there's a difference between, like, fanning out and then getting starstruck. Like, to me, starstruck is, like, you can't talk to them, or you're like shaking, you know, or you feel real. Oh. But
No,
to me, fanning out is getting excited and be like, man, I really love everything. Like, thank you for like doing what you.
Yeah, like I could fan out, but that moment I was totally starstruck.
Okay.
Like it was like somebody I studied so much and obsessed like over their work and everything, and then like the moment that you see them, you just go blank. Like I had that moment whenever I met Ed Hardy, like because I tattoo apprenticed a long time ago, and you know I was under the whole like Ed Hardy umbrella, so like I studied his work, I obsessed it. You have no idea. Like I probably traced his drawings to study like the movement like thousands and thousands and thousands of times, and then when you actually see him in the flesh, it was just like, holy crap! It's like seeing God. You're just like, dude, is that God? Is he real? Is that a ghost? You know, like you're just like, holy. And then I even remember like I was like so starstruck, like I couldn't really say anything. And then he even was like, so was there anything you wanted to ask me? And I was like, this is like, you're awesome. You're awesome. So what do you think about tattooing now? You know, like just some fucking bullshit question. But I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I have no idea. I wasn't prepared to ask you questions or even see you. It was amazing. So yeah, but I found out on Thomas Hooper before.
Who's that?
Artist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw him in the middle of the street. He's like this giant fucking gypsy looking guy, and he's just like kind of scary as fuck looking if you wouldn't know who he was.
But did you approach him?
Yeah, I approached him.
Okay,
like,
so that's like.
I was like.
At least you could do it though.
We walked in opposite directions on the sidewalk, and then I just like did a double take, and then I just turned around, and I was like, "Hey!" I like screamed at him. I was like, "Hey, are you Thomas Hooper?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my God, can I shake your hand?" And I just went up to him, like, "You are awesome. Just saying, you're cool. Thank you." And then I just walked off. That's all I could say. I was like,
"Hey, well, at least you weren't like starstruck to the point where you were like." You know, you couldn't say, "Hey."
No. That to me, that's fanning out. That's fanning out. Where I'm just like, oh my God.
That's the same distinction I have, yeah.
Yeah. But regardless, you always kind of feel like an asshole for. I kind of feel like an asshole.
I do like in the moment right before I'm about to do it.
Yeah.
But then after that, not really. I mean, like I try not to be as much.
Dick.
You're not as long as you're not like interrupting their meal or like they're like doing something.
Yeah.
I've never.
Like with their family.
Yeah, I've never done that. I've never.
Like with the family thing, like with the whole like Johnny Lee Miller situation, I was just like,
That's the reason you didn't mention the masturbation.
Yeah, you know, a totally inappropriate moment to ask for a picture because he's just out with his family.
Nah, well, the only reason the only reason I would think
because like I've like dated somebody that has been, you know, on network television, and then when we would go out.
That's for episode 2. That's the story.
No, I'm not gonna call any names out, but he's on a network. I dated a few network television guys actually.
Johnny Lee Miller.
No. No. I wish in my dreams. But I did, and then like when we go out on a date, it was weird whenever people would come up and just like, hey, oh my God, it's like come up to fan out, and I'm just like, well, this is kind of annoying, yeah.
Well, that's another reason you don't want to do it too sometimes, because you're like, did about 5 other people just do it right before I did?
Yeah, because it will happen throughout the night, you know,
mm-hmm.
It'll go on like that, so I'm like, I don't want to be that guy, you know, because it's like, you're out with somebody, you know. Maybe if he was by himself, you know, just dicking around, then I'll be like, I probably wouldn't feel so bad.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, it's like an intimate moment, so I'm not going to invade that. I'm just going to go like, I'm a big fan. That's all I'm going to say. I'm a big fan.
Then he's going to chase you down. He's going to chase you down. Wait, but did you like hackers?
I'm just extremely socially awkward, dude. I think that's also what it is. I'm just extremely socially awkward. Or maybe I just think about things way too much.
You're probably just high. I don't know. I thought I was socially awkward too. As it turns out, I was high all day.
I wasn't high at work.
Oh.
I was at work, and I was like, oh my God. This is so weird. He hasn't changed too much either.
Yeah, he's one of those, like
Robert
Ferrell.
Downey Jr. or...
Well, he's aged, but
A
in
little
a
bit,
good
but
way.
In a good way. He's like pretty old. What is it? Paul Rudd.
I was
ages
just about to
really
mention him. Paul Rudd hasn't aged. Johnny Lee Miller hasn't aged.
But
Ferrell.
Ferrell, man, that's just a given. Black don't crack.
But he hasn't even gained weight.
Yeah, but I mean, when you have that much money and you're still like going on with your career, you gotta look good.
Well,
It's a
yeah,
whole
he's got
package you
like
gotta
he's
sell.
got a nutritionist, and he's got another nutritionist, and another nutritionist.
He's probably got teams going on about the way he looks. And then that whole shit, like, I just didn't like Ferrell after that whole thing I heard about him, like, wanting to, like, remove all his tattoos.
Hey, he's got enough money to get clean.
He can, but this week, I was just like, that kind of makes me feel like you don't really, like...
He's like, no, I just want to
accept
get...
yourself for all the shit that you did, you know? Like, just accept it for what it is, you know? Why can't you just hold on to it? Or, like...
He's that
cover
rich.
it up. Or, like, cover it with different tattoos, you know?
He's like, I'm covering it up with a tattoo in the color of my skin in the design of the other tattoo.
I just can't remember.
I don't know who else. There's other people where it's offensive. Almost. I'm like, God, dude, what are they... How do they do this?
I don't want nobody on the radio. I'm going after Shakespeare. I'm going after Walt Disney. I'm going after Howard Hughes.
I would never come up to Kanye, that's for sure.
I would. I mean, as long as you don't have a camera out.
I wouldn't come up to Kanye.
I totally would. But
I
if
think
you know
it's
what,
harassed all the time.
the reason I would is because I really have a connection to some of his like the first like 3 albums that he put out. Well, actually, more than that. But like I really like his shit. Like I would genuinely go up and say like, "What's up?"
I'd be too scared of Kanye.
I you know, I wouldn't, because I'm a fan coming up. Like, it's not even a...
Yeah.
I wouldn't be asking for a picture.
No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. No. No way.
Actually, I was walking... Oh, God, is it Green Street? No, it's Mercer.
I definitely would never approach Jay-Z.
I don't know if you could.
He seems like a dick.
He has security around him
security
all day.
all the time, dude. Like, people with high security like that, I'm like, whoa.
Oh, he'd probably just be like, oh.
You have to send somebody over.
I almost feel like Kanye would be like, at least smile, only because he's like someone praising him in some sort of way. So he's like, okay. Whereas Jay-Z would be like, yeah, alright, you know, whatever.
No.
No?
No, I don't know. Jay-Z seems like a dick. He probably wouldn't be a nice dude in real life. Maybe it depends like how many people are around or if it was for an event or not. Like if you were like saying what's up at an event that he was supposed to be at, I'm sure he'd be like chill. But I think like
that's the thing, you never even I hate this, like the photos you ever seen of, he's never like in a casual place, like walking and it's paparazzi getting him or something like that, which that has happened with Kanye, but like it's, I don't know. I just never see him like walking any casual places.
Nah, I guess some people like to keep away from the mass majority, or they just know how to hide better.
I guess.
Or they have
maybe
some
he does. He
things
was
going
selling
on.
drugs for so long, you know. He just
Maybe he
can,
intimidates the paparazzi too.
that, or he can just stay inside all day, like back in the day. What? Oh, never mind. There was some line that he has. I'm not gonna try to even quote it because I'm
like,
a butcher.
I'm not even gonna try because I'm high.
I know I'm not gonna say it right, but it's
Because
basically about like he made it's basically like I made a certain amount of money before my feet touched the concrete outside, right? But it was basically like he stayed inside all day and didn't touch, you know, like before he even got outside, they already made this money. Anyway, made me think about staying in the apartment, staying in the house, away from paparazzi. Jay-Z, that's him.
Probably true. Man, as long as he doesn't fucking advertise the way he did for Magna Carta, man, that shit was like driving me crazy when that happened.
That's cool. That was cool to me.
I hated it. I got so sick of it. Especially if you're like a YouTube freak and then like you watch a lot of YouTube.
Adblock Plus.
Oh yeah.
It saved my life.
Adblock Plus.
Mhm.
I do need that because that was driving me nuts, man. Like
I thought you meant like
he was just shitting on the internet, man. He was just shitting all over the internet. Like you couldn't get away from seeing that, and I was like, what?
And you had to like it was like Samsung Records.
Even the way it was marketed, you would think that he was gonna be like some like older Jay-Z or like something where he was like kind of hard. You know the way it sounded like it was like all theatrical. It could have been like some G shit, and then you play the fucking album, and it's like.
Yeah, but he's a pampered old guy now.
He is, but like what, man?
I feel like he's already been the pampered old guy for a while, pretending to be that.
Well, you gotta grow
the
up
Marcy
with the
Hove.
music. Yeah, I mean, you gotta grow up with the music for sure.
But yeah, I feel like American Gangster.
He can't still be selling drugs or anything. But I'm just saying, like beat wise, like it's just like, or.
I think it was good beat wise. I think it was better than Yeezus.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Well, it shows you how much I don't really like either of them.
Well, I mean, Kanye also worked with Jay-Z too, so I mean.
I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't like Yeezus.
It just wasn't. Into
That's what I'd go up and tell Kanye. I say, but I love all the rest of them. Oh my God, don't hit me.
I love the rest, just not that one. Fuck that one.
He'd
So
say,
you like 808
thanks.
and Heartbreak?
Yeah.
What?
I think the production on that one
What?
is better than this one.
What? You're blowing my mind right now, dude. I totally disagree. I feel a complete opposite. I would say that I like Yeezus, but I fucking hated 808 and Heartbreak.
I didn't like it when it first came out. That one took me a long time to get into, and that was the point when I was like, I just stopped listening to
It's like one of those
Kanye.
albums that kind of grow on to you like a fucking fungus.
It's real minimal, and it's not like it's a weird hip hop album for what it is. And then I feel like after that, there started being more shit that sounded like that. Like he made that sort of sound popular of like this, a slower, auto-tuned. I feel like he blew up auto-tune. He was one of the main ones to do that, but like a slower, auto-tuned, sing-songy sort of hip hop, almost R&B vibe. I don't want to say R&B. The only reason I'm saying R&B is because it's like slower beats. I mean, there was rapping on there for real, but I feel like a lot of people have that sound now.
Fuck that. You know who's gonna bring it back for R&B right now?
Don't say D'Angelo.
No. They're coming out with some shit. Again, they're gonna be doing some shit. Jagged Edge.
I'm not familiar with Jagged Edge.
What? That was like some straight baby making hits for a while, man. Like, I think Jagged Edge is gonna bring it back. I feel like Troy Ave, he's gonna bring it back for New York hip hop. He's like definitely up and coming. I love Troy Ave. Did you know he shook down like some blogger for giving him a bad review? I heard some story about that. I was like, are you serious? I guess he's just like overly street.
What does he think the reviews are gonna be like now?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Double F.
Maybe, but
Negative.
If anything, if that's a way for him to promote himself, like I guess that works.
Yeah, that's good. That's funny when there's like media shit that'll promote you in a way, and that's why I wonder how much of it is orchestrated. Like,
yeah, because sometimes bad publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
But I remember T.I. orchestrated some shit about like some dude fucking saying that he was gonna like jump off a building, and then T.I. talked him down or something.
That was fake.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a dick.
But the thing is like most
I'm a
everybody,
hero
most
story.
most everybody outside of Atlanta, most everybody outside of Atlanta believes that was true. But I think almost everybody in Atlanta that like knew about that story knew that shit was mad fake.
I wanna start a rumor like that about me.
But apparently he did it again. He like saved some lady from a car, like a few months ago or some shit like that. Not that long ago. And then like I remember I was hearing on the radio and they're like, oh my gosh, T.I.'s just saving everybody. I was like,
yeah, how many more does he do before he gets a cape, before he gets a costume?
I don't know. I mean, he's a ghetto superhero, I guess. I don't know.
Actually, you know what? I would love it if you started a rumor like that about me, or if our listeners started a rumor like that about me. Like Matt talked some guy out of killing himself, and he was on a roof. He talked him out. Some guy he held somebody hostage on the BQE. He was outside the car. Matt talked him down, took the weapon. They never saw Matt again. We don't know what happened to the weapon.
But all of a sudden, we did hear about a story not too far away. There was a burning building, and like a pile of cats got saved.
Matt did it.
It could have been Matt. We'd like to think it was.
I mean, the distance was 20 minutes, and he couldn't have really got there in time. But
Yeah. It could have happened. Could have happened.
Hey.
Save the hostage, save the cats.
I'm gonna take the T.I. route of I'm the hero
Drop
stories.
the gun, save the cannoli.
What is that?
Godfather.
Oh my god.
I can't believe you missed
Wow.
the Godfather reference.
Jeez, and
Shame
I thought I
on
knew
you.
about that.
That was like my favorite quote from Godfather. Drop the gun, save the cannoli.
Now I feel gutted. Or I feel like, you know, I feel bad.
Shame.
On a podcast, no less. But you know what? I'm gonna lay it all out. I'm gonna leave it there for all to see.
It's all right. You're gonna bring it back on the next one. You're gonna bring it back.
Yeah, I'll recite a whole scene, word for word. Hey, yeah, more stoner training. Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Whatever.
Oh yeah, just to remind everybody, if you have any dating questions or need any advice, you can send it to higherlearningchannel@gmail.com, or just go to higherlearningchannel.com.
Yeah, go to higherlearningchannel.com. We also have a YouTube feed, Higher Learning Channel, that we're going to be loading some of these podcasts on. You could also find us on iTunes, and you could also find me on Twitter as Ginzilla, as I said earlier in the podcast, Ginzilla, and you can find me on Instagram, AkumaSuicide. It's Akuma Suicide. Pretty much that's what you're spelling, Akuma Suicide, like Street Fighter Akuma. And you can also find my blog. It's meetginzilla.com. I'm easy to find and keep in touch. If you have any questions, you could reach me on any of those outlets as well. I know I definitely get texted plenty of questions from almost every guy friend about dating and relationship advice, so I'm pretty used to this type of stuff. I've heard millions of things, even down to dick questions for that matter. Like, I remember, like, one of my guy friends was, like, texting me about his balls hurting, and he didn't know why. Like, I was supposed to know why his balls hurt.
Hey, that's intense.
Yeah, I was like,
Doctor,
dude, I was like, you're probably just drinking too much coffee. He was like, you're right.
Are they bleeding?
I drink way too much coffee. And I was like, do you drink water? Not really. I was like, oh, that's probably
Wait, coffee
why.
hurts your nuts?
Yeah, it could do something to the vessels if you do too much coffee and not enough of that. But he's like a
How
maniac.
much coffee?
He drank a lot, dude. Like, he was a maniac about it. And then, yeah. And
wow.
He was always up on the up. That was his problem. Always up on the up. Not drinking enough water.
I don't think I drink
water.
that much coffee.
Yeah, but you drink water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you're not, like, going out boozing all the time. Coffee and booze will definitely probably make your balls hurt, dude. I looked it up.
It sounds like my ass hurt.
I looked it up. Like, it could definitely do it. I was just like, oh, that's what's wrong with you. Why am I answering dick and ball questions, man? It's like,
Well,
I don't even own a dick.
On that note, with dick and balls, I'm on Twitter, too. It's SIGHR_, sire_. Yeah.
Please do hit us up. Give us any feedback. If you have any suggestions, any stuff that you want to hear on the show, please give us that. Again, it's higherlearningchannel.com. All right, we're going to be probably having Corey hopefully soon on the podcast as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be really great. And we'll catch you later.
Thanks for listening.